Inspire Every Child Foundation, and it helps children receive books who cannot afford them. So just you being here and helping out allows the children to receive books all the way around the world and through the U.S., through different organizations. So thank you, thank you, thank you for helping the kids. I want to show you a picture. I couldn't help but print this picture up. This is one of the children. This is one young boy who's in the hospital. Isn't he adorable?
There.
He received one of the books. And so I'm going to pass this around. You can see how adorable. There's some writing on the back there. Again, all net proceeds goes to Inspire Every Child Foundation, so thanks to you. Okay, I went ahead and opened up the 4 directions for everybody, and so now we have a real nice sacred circle, and everything is perfect. Everything is beautiful. So I'm going to share a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to come around and do an acutonics tuning fork to everybody. Okay? So, let's see. I won't tell you my age, but many years ago, a few years ago, let's see, I pretty much, when I was younger, I had spiritual experiences, and I had visions when I was a little girl of a Native American man standing in my room. I heard voices, and I told my dad that I was hearing voices, and my dad would tell me, that's all in your head. So we lived on a ranch, and so all the animals were my friends. And so it was one of the safest places for me because animals are so unconditional. They were my friends, my best friends, and all the kids were so far away, I didn't have any neighbor kids to play with. So it was the healthiest childhood a person could have because of nature, and we had to be very creative when we were kids. We had a donkey named Michael, an Appaloosa horse named Cindy. We had 2 pigs, Moco and Poco. My grandmother raised beefalo. And our whole family, believe it or not, used to hunt. We used to hunt for birds. And I had a little 20 gauge with a stock and barrel cut to fit me to age 12. And my mother used to hunt. She shot, believe it or not, a 12 gauge. She's come with a big bruise on her shoulder. But we would eat the food. We wouldn't waste. We also used to go fishing a lot, and I learned as a little girl how to really appreciate nature. We used to pick wild asparagus and come home and clean it. We used to pick wild mushrooms, but you got to be really careful. We were educatedly taught by my parents what they should specifically look for in a mushroom. So you don't want to go out there and do that yourself. That's how we learned, and my mom cleaned and checked the food, but we had mushrooms and a lot of wild stuff that we went and picked as our whole family. We used to sit in a canal where there was just shallow water and there was a lot of mud, believe this or not, and we used to reach down the mud and grab the back of a crawdad. You guys ever eat crawdad?
Yeah.
Yay, crawdad! Can you imagine doing that? I wouldn't do that today, right? But when you're a kid, you're so open, and everything is wonderful, and you can do anything when you're a kid, right? So we used to pick crawdad. We had bought brand new trash barrels, those big gallon trash barrels, and we filled up a couple of those with crawdads. My whole family, my mom, my dad, my brothers, and the neighbor girl across the street, we all get in the mud and reach down and pull out crawdads until we filled up those gallon buckets. When we all went home and the neighbor girl, Lorraine, went across the street, her dad was furious at us. How could you let her get all muddy and she's all wet, blah, blah, blah. But she had the funnest time getting in mud, in dirt, Yeah. So years went on, let's see. And then I worked, then I went into my 20s, and I worked for emotionally disturbed children. And children who were ward of the court and were considered in California state law 300s and then 602s. So 300s were children, it's a California code, state code where they did not commit a crime, but they were considered a ward of the court. For some reason, it was unfit for them to be in their home. So 602s were children who committed a crime like stealing or what have you, and they've been in juvenile hall. So I was a house parent and worked for boys and girls and then also another boys' home. I really cared about kids. I had a rough childhood myself, so I had the passion of helping kids and making sure that nobody would get those kids. So I was going to help them. So by doing that, I also healed myself. And it gave me a great inner satisfaction that I was able to help kids and make sure that I had great passion to make sure that I understood their feelings, that they had hardship. I knew where they were at. And I didn't have to say a word, but I just knew to help them. And so I did that for a few years, and then I worked in an Alzheimer's schizophrenic hospital, believe it or not.
Wow.
And it was a Sutter affiliated, and I was, guess what I was? I was an activity coordinator. Can you imagine?
Yes.
In Alzheimer's schizophrenic, dementia, higher and lower level care, whether they're tied down in a wheelchair because maybe they can get violent, they're on meds, or they're not quite there all the way. So I ran the activities department, and it was a 160-bed facility. So, you know, because I'm like to be positive and all that, and it can be very depressing for family members or ones who live there in that kind of environment. So let's see. So there was like Christmas time. Santa was an hour and a half late, so I had to sing Christmas songs. But they loved it. If you ever need to practice any kind of entertainment in front of a stage of people, you guys go to the senior center. They're so forgiving. Practice. They love you for being there. And you got the greatest audience, and you can do anything, and they just love you to death. So if you ever need an audience, go to the senior center. They'll love you and appreciate it.
Yeah.
No matter how I sing, they loved it. Can you imagine an hour and a half thinking of Christmas songs? They were just so grateful. And I didn't know all the words, but they still had fun. And so it was a great place to be. Let's see. So the children, the seniors, and gotta really think back. So after a while, I worked for mentally disabled adults. That was a 90-bed facility. And I went in all these arenas of care facilities because I wanted to be a child psychiatrist. But I thought, you know, I think I'll go work in these places and really see what it's like and see if this is what I want to do. So I ended up working in these different types of level or different types of care as of facilities. And then I worked for a 90-bed facility. They were mentally disabled adults. They were the funnest. They were from the ages of, I think they were from 18 all the way up to 65 years old. I was an assistant administrator and activities coordinator. And it was a 90-bed facility. It was called Sunnyvale something, I can't remember the name of it. But what was so great, even though they were 40, 50, 60 years old, their mentality was like a 7, 8-year-old. They're so unconditional. They are so loving. They are the funnest. They really are. They're very childlike. And I really believe that people like that on this earth are here to remind us to stay with our child. And they are so unconditional and so loving that they decided as a soul to come here in this particular type of condition that they're in, just to be in that childlike place. I think it's kind of fun. I had the funnest time with these guys. They were the funnest people to be. So then after I did that, then I thought, you know, this is getting kind of a little depressing. I think I want to do something really, really happy now. So then I went into television, and I opened a dance studio for kids, ages 4 to 14 years old, 3 different age groups. And this is when I lived in Northern California, even though I was born in Torrance, LA. So back in California, let's see, taking my mind back. Oh, okay, so the children's dance, and so it was fun and great because we get to play, and it gets to be positive. So I took all the classes needed to become a community television producer for Sacramento and Roseville. I wrote PSA scripts for the 2 mayors, and also taught the 16-week course for kids. I should go faster, huh? Okay, so did the dance for the kids, and then, let's see, and that was a lot of fun, and you get to play a lot because they're all kids, and they're so grateful, appreciative. Ballet and modern dance, and they performed on community television, did radio play, and then, let's see, then from when I was younger all the way to older, I think I was about in my 40s, and I thought, God, I just feel like I got to get this out, So I ended up writing my first book. I'll fast forward really quick. I ended up writing my first book, and I've had all these miracles. I had all these miracles, you guys, you ain't gonna believe. One time, I was really unhappy at my previous marriage, and I said, I'm really unhappy, and I gotta ship. I'm gonna fast forward like 10 minutes. Is that okay? 10 more minutes? Is that good? You good? Okay. So, I just gotta tell you this. So, let's see. So I was really unhappy, and you know when things start to wind down in a marriage or a relationship, you know it's time, you're shifting. And everything's good, everything's okay. It's no one's fault. It's just time to shift a new direction and move on. You because we all learn what we need to do and say thank you very much, and there's no blame or judgment, just kind of move on. And so, but I was really unhappy. And so when we're unhappy, if we don't heed and take warning to what Spirit's telling us to do, our body will start to disform, or we start to get depressed. So I was really unhappy, and I was in the living room by myself, and I said, okay, gosh dang it, I'm going to get myself out of this. This is not me. So I said, okay, what can I do to get myself out of it? Okay, I know that when we do this, it's good to do this. And I can tell you miracles I've seen just by doing this, you guys. And I'll tell you one time, I'm going to try to go really fast here. Just by doing this, I saw this guy do this with hands, prayer, and this white light. Can I use you real quick? Come over here. Go like this, okay? As soon as he did this, I saw this ring of white light go around his hands. And when I saw that, thank you so much. When I saw that, that told me the power of our right, left body, our electricity and water, how powerful. Just doing this. Don't think that this is not powerful. I have no clue about the Bible. I'm not religious, but I'm open to everything. Okay? And just by doing this, that ring of white light told me this is very powerful to do. And because we're electricity, we're connecting those two together. So I did this, and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. That'll work, okay, because I'm still figuring out how to get myself out of this rut that I was in. And I said, I'll put this on my heart, because I know we're supposed to put on the heart. That's another good thing we should do. And I said, what else should I do to really get myself out of this? And I said, okay, people say you got to forgive yourself. Okay, so I said, okay, I'm going to do all this. So I did this, and I stood in the living room, and I was by myself, and I did this. And I said, with all my will and all my might, I forgive myself from all past lifetime, up to date, and in the future. And I went like this, and I meant it with all my heart. This hip bone, we all got this hip bone here. See the bone here? This hip bone moved right before my eyes. That hip bone. And I always knew there were miracles here. I always knew it, but it gave me the satisfaction to go, wow, we have the power to do anything we want. We do. It's right here. We have the power. So not only that, but I had all these miracles, you guys, and they're all in this first book. And it's so exciting. And Mother Mary even taught me the title, Home is in Our Heart, and that was one of my lessons here. No matter where we go, it doesn't matter where we live, what home we're in, it's right in our heart. The home is in here. So this has been a big lesson. Again, I'm not religious, but I've had many wonderful experiences that she's really helped me with. And there's many other wonderful stories too. So I'm going to hurry. And then I lived in Vegas for 2 years. I did that book, and then a few years later, I lived in Vegas for 2 years. And that was very harsh for me. But there was a reason I needed to be there. I wrote the second book real quick, and it talks about the Native American culture, and it's allegorical. It's really fun because 65% of the book rhymes and telling the story. It's a lot of fun. So there's this one.
What's the title?
Can you see it right here, Mr.
Called The
Thompson?
True Love of Aphrodite and Hercules.
And subtitle?
Subtitle is In the Loving Guidance of the Native American Animal Spirits that Brought Them Together.
So it's really fun, you guys. And when you write, it's so exciting. Anybody can write. When you write, it's like bliss. You're in this bliss high. And you just write. Just do it, you guys. Just write it in pencil or sit. I don't care if it's F-U 10 times. It doesn't matter. Just keep doing this. Just keep doing this. And pretty soon, it'll get clearer and clearer and clearer because you got to clear all that stuff out. And don't ever erase. Always keep what you got. Just throw it in a folder somewhere. Just do it. Just keep doing it. Okay, so then pretty soon something comes out. And save your work because you might use it again for later. Something else might come out. And pretty soon, just keep it going. And then you narrow it down and clean it up, and pretty soon you'll start noticing things coming together. Okay, so did that. You get this on 35 different distributors, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and just pull the internet. This one I'm having revised. So that'll come out pretty soon. This one, let's see, a few years ago I did this one, and Spirit really helped me with this one. This was a lot of fun. This was real bliss. And it's actually a workbook called Dancing with Mother Earth. And it's for 8 all the way up to 100 years young. And the first half teaches about Mother Earth. She's a lot like us, and we're a lot like her. It's very simple reading, just a couple pages of mental, and then it goes into drawing a stick picture figure of what you just read. And then you journal what you just read. Because then I said, Spirit, how do I get in the heart to help people? And Spirit showed me, do the creative. When we do the creative, like drawing pictures or journal creatively, that goes into the heart because we're so mental. But I really want